addressing our challenges at Pumwani Hospital. At Mama Lucy Hospital, Mr. Speaker, the Linda Mama program owes the facility 120 million shillings, and the NHIF owes Mama Lucy Hospital 178 million Kenyan shillings. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, we have installed ICU, neonatal ICU construction, with a pending bill of only 50 million shillings, and that is what has led to the contractor abandoning site at Mama Lucy. If NHIF were to give us our money, the 178, I am sure it would go a long way. That is more than half of the proposed budget for the construction of the neonatal ICU, which also include, Mr. Speaker, a burn unit that would have taken care of all the victims from the Embakasi fire blast, Mr. Speaker. At Mbagathi Hospital, where the members of the committee had occasion to visit, the NHIF owes Mbagathi Hospital over 180 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, there is a stalled outpatient department expansion block that requires only 15 million shillings, that 18 million that is owed to the current contractor for him to return to site which he abandoned a long time ago. Mr. Speaker, finally, if you go to Mutuini Hospital, this is a hospital that has great controversy, because when I went there on the 1st of February as part of my oversight activities, I met with Dr. Obwanda, who is the CEO of the hospital, and he actually showed me an X-ray room, Mr. Speaker, that has been constructed but not completed because it doesn't have the lead doors required of all X-ray rooms. Mr. Speaker, what was interesting is that we were told then that we needed only 700,000 shillings to install lead doors on that building so that we can use the X-ray machine in that particular room. Yesterday, when the committee arrived in Nairobi, the CEO had changed the story. Now he's saying they have acquired a mobile X-ray machine recently that does not require us to invest in lead doors. But the building is there, Mr. Speaker. So we are saying, if you go to Mutuini, Linda Mama program alone owes Mutuini Hospital 13 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, this is the right time for this House to direct that before NHIF is wound down so that we can bring in the Social Health Insurance Authority, we want all the debts that are owed to all county facilities to be paid back. So, Mr. Speaker, I support strongly, and I have 100% faith in the committee chaired by my friend, the Senator for Uasin Gishu, to be able to get us this money, because he saw yesterday himself that Nairobi needs this money. Mr. Speaker, the county was trying to be clever by cleaning city mortuary with a toothbrush yesterday, thinking that they could blind the committee. But because God is there, Mr. Speaker, when we arrived there, there was a national blackout. And then we discovered that the hospital has no generator. From 2018, the city mortuary has no generator, Mr. Speaker. And I was feeling very bad for some of my colleagues because they could not even get into the facility because of the stench. Mr. Speaker, we are in a crisis in Nairobi, and this statement is timely. I want the chair of the Health Committee and the members of the Health Committee to save us in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Hatuna mahali pengine pa kwenda. Asante sana.
So, Honorable Senators, there is a statement by Senator Khalwale. Can you read your statement as we combine all the comments together?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a request for a statement on the distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers in various parts of the country, and in Kakamega in particular. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53/1 to seek for this statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding this distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers in Kakamega and various parts of the country. Mr. Speaker, in the statement, the committee should, 1, explain the circumstances leading to the impounding of over 700 bags of fake fertilizer in Malaba constituency, Kakamega County, stating how many of these fake fertilizer bags had been distributed to or bought by farmers by the time the fake fertilizer was impounded. 2, state how many of the bags of fake fertilizer have been impounded countrywide, providing details of the suspects behind the packaging and distribution of the same, and assess and report on the impact of the distribution of fake fertilizer and other farm inputs to farmers on food production and food security in this country. 3, disclose how much of the over 700 million reportedly allocated by the county government of Kakamega towards the purchase of subsidized farm inputs was utilized in the purchase of the fake fertilizer. 4, inform the Senate of the measures in place to investigate and arrest the suspects behind the distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers and any further measures to ensure farmers are not exploited as they seek to assess farm inputs during the ongoing planting season. And finally, but not least, Mr. Speaker, the committee should order for a special audit by the Auditor General of the county's budgetary allocation expended on the purchase, procurement, and distribution of the said fertilizer, including an audit on the verification and acceptance report done on the authenticity of this fake fertilizer. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, if you look at our clock, you can see we have only 20 minutes to the end of the statement hour. So I want to give 3 members this side and 3 the other side. So, and kindly take 2 minutes just to make a comment on a statement. You don't need to debate. Just a comment. We start with the Senator Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that opportunity. I want to very quickly comment on the statement by Senator Murango of Kirinyaga about the roads in Grufani town. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this statement because we have been having towns that come up every other day, towns that had not been previously planned for. And in my county, we have Keno, Mr. Speaker, and Kabati. And I support and say that the government should be very responsive because this is a government that cares for its people, that when a town springs up, then the government should respond and provide the necessary road network, Mr. Speaker, sewer lines, water, and that kind, those amenities, Mr. Speaker. And the government has KURA, that is Kenya Urban Roads Authority, and so KURA should be very responsive to this, Mr. Speaker. And I support, even as I say that every other town that springs up should be taken care of, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to also comment on the statement by Senator Beth Siengo about the safety of learners, Mr. Speaker, on the roads. And this could not have come at a better time, Mr. Speaker. We lost about 2 weeks ago or so a number of students from Kenyatta University, Mr. Speaker. And my concern is that sometimes these drivers of institutional buses are not used to long distances, Mr. Speaker. And so there should be a good program to see to it that learners, whether in university or other lower levels, that they are safe on our roads, Mr. Speaker. And NTSA should see to it that the buses are designed to transport students, Mr. Speaker, that the drivers are trained even for long distance journeys, Mr. Speaker. So, because you say we do not have much time, Mr. Speaker, let me end there, but we must take care of our learners on the roads. We must respond to towns that just spring up and where most of our people are living. You know, I come from a county where we always talk of buroti, maguta, and when these burotis are sold, of course, Mr. Speaker, then we get towns that were not previously planned for. Thank you very much.
What did you say about plots? Can you kindly clarify?
Mr. Speaker, I meant nice plots. Our people will market them as buroti, maguta. Buroti means plot. Maguta means oily ones, good ones. That's what I meant, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Manzo Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to comment on Senator Khalwale's statement. Mr. Speaker, the issue of fake fertilizer is a very serious matter in the country. And Mr. Speaker, that means that many farmers, and when you hear the amount of money is involved and the amounts, Mr. Speaker, and even the packaging, which is done by government institution, Mr. Speaker, it means a lot of farmers are going to be cheated. It means once you plant with fake fertilizer, you are not going to have a harvest despite the good rains in the country. It means a lot of residents' efforts are going to go into waste, Mr. Speaker. Having worked so hard in your farm, believing and honestly so that you have bought the right quality of fertilizer. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter which involves crime and I believe should be investigated thoroughly. But most probably, Mr. Speaker, is institutionalized crime. And some of the people dealing with this institution, Mr. Speaker, although the police have been very vigilant on this particular matter and caught some of this fertilizer in Molo while in transit in lorries, Mr. Speaker, it's a matter, Mr. Speaker, which should be taken seriously by this Senate, and I'm glad to belong to the Committee of Agriculture. Those people must be brought into book, Mr. Speaker. Recommendations made to DCI and the prosecution ensue, Mr. Speaker. And the right thing done to these farmers, a way of retribution by the government to make sure the right fertilizers get to these farmers in good time. Mr. Speaker, if, as a Senate, we have a mandate to make sure that the counties are well taken care of. And I really want to thank Senator Khalwale for taking this very fast action, bearing in mind the farmers who are being conned. They look so, you know, that they were very believing. They really believed and honestly saw to the government, but somebody really cheated them. By the time they discovered this was stones, Mr. Speaker, it's a very serious matter. I thank you, and I would like to participate to make sure these people are brought to book. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chaligay Samson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support the statement by Senator Boni Khalwale on the issue of fertilizer. Mr. Speaker, I think I brought a statement last week. Mr. Speaker, I said in Kapcherop in Elgeyo Marakwet County on Sunday that the selling of fake seeds and fake fertilizer should be declared a capital offense, just like murder. Mr. Speaker, Nandi, we have experienced such challenges in a number of cereals depots within Nandi County. And even we have seen in media, Mr. Speaker. I want to request the government that selling of fake fertilizer, fake seeds, should be declared capital offense. And if need be, Mr. Speaker, those people should be treated as terrorists. Because if as farmers we get fake fertilizer and fake seeds, we don't get food security. And when we don't get food security, Kenyans will die of hunger, Mr. Speaker, which is worse than terrorism, Mr. Speaker. So this is a very serious matter, Mr. Speaker. We expect the Minister of Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to report to the nation what so far mechanisms he has put in place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to call upon the CS of Agriculture to dissuade fears of farmers, Mr. Speaker. And even call out Kenya Bureau of Statistics. What were they doing until people are giving under subsidy program to sell fake fertilizer and fake seeds, Mr. Speaker? Somebody is sleeping on the job, Mr. Speaker. They either shape up or ship out, Mr. Speaker, because we cannot risk, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chaligay, for record purposes, did you say Kenya Bureau of Statistics?
Yes, Kenya Bureau of Standards, sorry. Kenya Bureau of Standards, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And that is why you are the one of the chair Njurinjeke members. Mr. Speaker, I know that what was Kenya Bureau of Standards doing? Until farmers, Mr. Speaker, it is very embarrassing, and I'm told even they are mixing donkey feces with mara, Mr. Speaker, and selling to farmers. Somebody must be arrested. Somebody must be, and I want to thank the president because he was in the county of Kakamega, and he declared this is a very serious travesty against farmers, Mr. Speaker. But from where we farm, I want to assure the country, when we get the right fertilizer and right seeds, I can assure you, as the way the price of unga is going down, it shall continue to go down. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of P1, ECD teachers and diploma, Mr. Speaker, where do you want D- and D+ general to go? Mr. Speaker, we are having a problem. We must ensure that D- and D+ get to enroll to ECD and P1 teachers, Mr. Speaker. I want to support what Senator Seki has said, Mr. Speaker. Teacher Service Commission must allow affirmative action. Because somebody who got D+ or D-, Mr. Speaker, we have had stories where they have become successful, Mr. Speaker. Even call county governments to improve on ECD welfare and salaries and remuneration, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that we protect these teachers, Mr. Speaker, and call upon counties to protect, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appeal on behalf of many people who did not pass very well in university to get to university and colleges. Where will they go, Mr. Speaker? A D+, a D-, they are our children. We must agree that let us allow them to be ECD teachers, to be, Mr. Speaker, to get to P1 and get diploma teachers, Mr. Speaker. Let us not only reduce people, Mr. Speaker, D- and D+ to be preachers and gospel and pastors, Mr. Speaker, and religious leaders. Even A people can become pastors and religious leaders, Mr. Speaker. Let us not only say a child who gets D+ or D- becomes a pastor or a sheikh.